Hi, my name is Jim Kost, and I'm a photographer. This is my studio. I've been shooting for 9 years now, and I've been doing this particular wet plate photography since August of 2014, so I guess a year and a half. I have a background in medical research that I did before I went and did photography at Fanshawe College. So I've been shooting for photography for about 9 years. What drew me to the wet plate collodion process is that marriage of science and chemistry and photography. It's a process that dates back to 1851. You basically have to make every piece of film just before you use it. It's got no shelf life. It's called wet plate because if the plates dry out, they're useless. When you buy modern film or use a modern digital camera, you're dealing with ISO 100 to 12,000. This stuff is ISO 0.3. So it's a real quirky process. It's called orthochromatic. It's blind to red, yellow, and orange. It sees those as black, but blue comes out as white. Freckles are exaggerated. Our model today, Amber, has the greatest blue eyes that come out a ghost of white. I also enjoy the process because there was no Photoshop in 1851. People who come and sit for a wet plate portrait have to be happy with who they are because there is no retouching. And when you're working with a negative that's 6 inches by 8 inches, there's an amazing amount of detail. So every pore and every imperfection is there for everyone to see. And it's also very unique. Each one is a one-of-a-kind item. Digital cameras will shoot at 8 to 14 frames a second, whereas I make one of these things every 10 minutes or so. So the whole package really appeals to me and my OCD. This is the dark room. Kind of a giant mess. I shot that one of Amber just before you got here today.
Oh.
So that was on a dirty plate, so those messy edges and the blobs and the little squiggles on the sides.
I do kind of like it though.
Yeah, I know. They shouldn't be there. So I can get really pedantic about the whole process. In 1851, there's a fellow named Frederick Scott Archer, and he sort of played on the fact that if you soak regular cotton in nitric acid, you get nitrocellulose, which is gun cotton. So you can jam that into a cannon, fire off a cannonball, and blow your buddy's leg off. North-South
Nice.
Civil War, right? And then some enterprising young physician realized that if you took that nitrocellulose and dissolved it in ether and alcohol, you got what was like a second skin. So you could put bandages on the leg you just blew off with the same stuff, which I think is really cool. It's kind of ironic. And Frederick Scott Archer in 1851 realized that you could put photochemicals in that nitrocellulose, stick it to a metal plate. Oh, he did glass first. Stick it to a glass plate and use that to make a photograph. The issue is you have to do it as you go. So it's called wet plate photography, wet plate collodion. If the plate dries out, it's useless. So you've got about a 10-minute working window once you've made it. So you can't make a roll of film to use. You can't make a box of 24 and cart them. Yeah. So these guys were in their wagons with boxes and boxes of glass plates, following the Civil War armies, and making prints as they went, washing them in river water, and making beautiful, beautiful images, perfectly clean. And in my dark room today, with all the amenities of modern day life, I can't make a clean one. So this is what they would do: is they would paint iron or tin with asphalt and bake it to get a shiny black surface. So this black becomes the blacks in the image. Today I have the joy of being able to buy something called trophy aluminum. So if you had a trophy and your name was engraved, this is the plate that your name would be engraved on. So it comes with a little protective coating, and this is all nice and clean and ready to make pour my emulsion on. So in this beer bottle, I don't drink it, is that nitrocellulose, gun cotton dissolved in ether and alcohol with cadmium bromide and potassium iodide. Those are two halides. In this black tank is a silver nitrate solution. When they mix, they make silver halides, and that becomes film. That becomes light sensitive. Okay?
Wow.
So, every black stain on the floor, on the table, on most of my clothes, is the silver nitrate because it stains everything. So the hardest part of the whole process is to pour this from the bottle onto this without pouring it on your shoes. So let's see if I can do this. You probably smell the ether as well. So after a couple hours in here, sometimes I'm a little happier than when I started.
It's like you're a skilled professional.
I've done this probably 800 times over the past year and a half. And then you collect the excess and you can use it again and again.
Huh.
So this is now sort of the film base. Modern film, this would be gelatin on a plastic base. So the goo that I just poured on is kind of like the equivalent of gelatin. And right now it's only got half of the chemistry in it. So as the ether evaporates off, this will set up kind of like Jell-O. And then I will put it in the silver bath for 3 minutes to sensitize. And then it's film at that point. So a real quirk of the process is that it's blind to red, orange, and yellow. It sees those as black. It's dead to that end of the spectrum, and it really likes blue. So Amber's blue eyes come out white, spooky white. Freckles show up like crazy, and some ink disappears totally. I've got a young lady who's got a total back piece, and I shot her, and it's gone.
That's cool.
Which is really, there are stories of people who, had their wet plate done, and, first time they've seen themselves without ink.
Yeah.
Since they were a kid.
Missing.
Right? So I'm going to set the timer, and this is where we stand around for 3 minutes and
it's like
make small talk.
Crash course in photography.
There you go. An antique photography.
So can we?
Let me think.
It's not a test or anything.
I'm just trying to think. I've done this so many times. I feel like a wind-up doll sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
a great shot.
Pretty much covers it. Amber is so easy to work with.
Such a great shot. I mean,
she's
look at that.
rather new to modeling, but she's gorgeous. And she does hair for a living, so every time she comes, I never know what we're going to get. And this time is fantastic. I think that's really cool. And like I say, she's got those blue eyes that just turn into strangely white.
Yeah, like she's
totally
a vampire
spooky.
or
Yeah,
something,
it's very
right?
cool. It's very cool. So it's always fun working with her. Really, I could be the worst photographer in the world, and if I put Amber in front of my camera, you'd still look at my pictures.
It's great though. It's cool how it's lighted, and I like the imperfections. That's really cool. Look at that.
So this is actually an older plate that I just kind of recycled to do the test run on. So most of the artifacts are because it was kind of sitting around on the shelf with the plastic off. So this will dry. It'll dry a little bit brighter, and then the final step is to varnish the plate to protect it.
And then that's your photograph. It's
And
not
then that's your
transferred
photograph.
onto paper or
No,
nothing.
no. So basically, that's a layer of elemental silver. So just like your silverware, it will tarnish if you don't protect it.
Oh.
So the traditional varnish is made from a tree sap from the north of Africa called gum sandarak, dissolved in alcohol, and then oil of lavender is used as a plasticizer so it won't crack. So to me, it smells like old ladies in an elevator because it's got that heavy lavender smell.
Sure.
And it's the weakest point in my chain because I invariably get dog or cat hair stuck into it, or dust, or wrinkles in the finish. So I cheat some days and I just use modern acrylic spray.
I was gonna say, wouldn't that be easy?
Yeah. So the resurgence in wet plate really came from the Civil War reenactors. They're a really die-hard kind of set of guys. So if you're not wearing hand knit woolen underwear, they don't want you there. So to do that, they would freak out. Right. I'm just not.
That's not authentic enough.
Right. Yeah. So when I pull this out of here, we can't have the rim lights on. It's got to be under red light. So I don't know if we can all scooch in and close the door, or if we can just shut the fluorescent off in the hallway. The switch is on the pole there. When it comes out of that tray, it is film. It's light sensitive, but it's not sensitive to the red lights.
Right. Because it doesn't see red.
It doesn't see red.
Right.
So, but you can see that where it used to be sort of clear before, now it's cloudy. So the reaction is happening. I'm going to hurry because that door is open. Silver nitrate is corrosive to just about everything, so I like to wipe the back of the plate off so it doesn't flow into my camera or on my floor. All right, we are ready to go take a photo.
Excellent.
1 and 2 and 3. to see what I'm doing here.
And that first shot was gorgeous.
Thank
See
you.
that thing?
Yeah, I
oh
know
my
it.
god.
Alright, so
I want to buy it.
we can discuss that. Alright, so the development stage here is a little different than film where you can develop longer or shorter depending. This is really timed, so I'm going to hit it with the developer here. We're going to kind of keep an eye on time and the exposure, so you can just see the Ramones showing up. You can see the image starting to show. Probably another few seconds. Alright, so I'm just going to run into the sink here. So you just stop the process from running over. And at this point, I can turn the room lights on again, so the cameras are probably all going to have a very good area when I do that. So there's the image before it gets fixed out. And this is the cool part. Alright. So there's the image. So I'll fix it a little longer. This is where the emulsion will stick around the edge. And, oh, that's something weird going down. And something's going on down here as well. So that's one of the, there's some of those artifacts that I would rather not see. But I love the hair. When you do a close-up, you can take a look at Amber's eyes in that. They're just missing.
The other one, yeah, my eyes are really
So I think we should shoot Will next. Get a nice tight headshot.
Okay.
Even though it seems very complicated, it's really the same set of steps.
Right.
Over and over and over again to get that consistency. So even though I'm a zombie who slept an hour, I can do this perfectly. It's like in autopilot because I've done it so many times. So.
But I'm sure you gotta have that same enthusiasm. Like you're doing this one at a time. You're not just with a digital camera, snap, 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 snap.
Right.
You know, this is
And,
a process
you know,
for every shot.
I razz my students because I'm old and I'm lazy.
Right.
I would rather get up and move the Tim Hortons cup from the background shooting a wedding and shoot 400 pictures than edit the Tim Hortons cup out 400 times.
Right.
I mean, you can do it. The editing tools we have these days are insanely powerful.
And
but I got
Stacey's
better
the
things
very
to do.
opposite. She loves the whole photo editing part.
Yeah, see, I know.
And that's her thing. And she does great stuff with, her editing abilities. And,
Yep.
But
And I think that's one of the reasons I like this. Even when I edit, I still shoot digital and I'll shoot
Right.
film and Polaroid. And when I shoot those, I do very minimal edits. I try to light everything so it looks good to start with, and I don't have to do any. Even though I'm in front of a computer 20 hours a day, that's not my favorite place. Editing is not my favorite thing.
right.
So
Oh, this is great.
I find it amazingly relaxing. This is where I escape my wife and kids. Strike that.
We'll edit that out later, don't worry.
Oh, they know
It's
it.
okay.
They know it. They know that an hour in here makes me bearable at home,
Right.
rather than no sleep, grumpy old guy.
Yeah.
So
This is very exciting though. This makes me want to be a photographer. I want to do this.
this is a little more in depth. A lot of people want to do it and think they can do it. I'll do it for a weekend and then stop doing it.
Right,
It doesn't
right.
work that way.
Because there is a lot of work. I mean, just you setting up each plate. That's gonna be
Well,
a pain in the
just
butt,
and
but-
keeping the chemistry fresh and keeping it going. You really can't make it shoot 5, come back 6 months later and expect it all to be ready to go.
Right.
So, and I could probably take better care of mine, but.
What do you mean? This
It's
is
kinda
like a
winged.
top-notch.
Oh, this is exactly.
dark room.
The
Is
witness
that?
labels and no, this is very explosive in here. Why don't we run out and I'll set you up in the spot and I'll shoot a shot of you.
Oh boy.
We'll come in a little closer, maybe.
I'm warning you in
A whole
advance.
sexist attitude. I have a whole discussion about that.
I like the very things.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I never know what I'm supposed to do.
I just want you to stand there. And hang out.
Alright.
And we'll
Stare at the light.
stare at the light for a while. Okay.
I'll be completely blind when this is over.
All right.
I know.
So,
Like
that
this.
one just went.
I'm still getting like.
I like it. Everything on the back of the camera is upside down and reversed, so I still am like, which way do I want Will to turn? Do I want him to go this way or that way? I want him to go one of the ways.
That's alright. I can take direction now.
All right. Marvelous. That's exactly what I want. So if you can kind of remember where you are in relation to that cable.
Okay.
No,
I'll repose your cable there. Go grab that.
she doesn't approve of
This stands here.
And on three, everybody raise up. 1 and 2 and. Wow, your vision should come back and read yourself. All right, let's go see if I've stolen your soul.
I hope so.
Time thing. You want to try to make sure you get the developer to cover the whole thing in one go. And you don't want any to fall off the plate because the silver that was on there is part of the reaction. So, let's see your vest showing up. So this is upside down in my hand, right? So your head's towards me. I didn't ruin my camera.
Well, that's good.
I don't think you did.
And I'm pretty sure my soul was already stolen. So.
Fragmented into a million pieces.
You're getting a little ripped off there.
That's right. That's okay. I have a whole bunch. Collected many. Not that I'm saying that Amber's soul is better than yours.
Well.
Younger, fresher.
She looks like her soul would be better than mine.
So, if you don't wash it adequately, you get there's iron in the developer, and it turns into the same blue pigment that is out on the wall in the cyanide. So, useless trivia nugget for the day: if you see somebody's wet plates and they've got blue in them, they didn't wash them.
I will remember that the next time I see
Yeah,
somebody's wet plates.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I can't help
Aha, there's iron in
it. I
there.
can't help it. So I'm thinking these artifacts here are in the very same spot they were in Amber's picture. So sometimes the aluminum comes with marks on it from the processing in the factory or whatever.
Oh,
So I'm thinking that artifact might be from some dirty aluminum, but I think you're almost in focus there. Look at that.
wow.
Very nice. I probably could have raised the backlight up just a little bit, but you might be some Jim Kost than Amber, even with the heels in the hair.
Might be.
There we go. But there you go. One stolen soul.
That's way cool.
Awesome. Well, I think we can have George Hammer on now.
Nice.
I've bored everybody.
No.
Sure.
This is fascinating.
This
We
guy
know how to
wouldn't
do
stop
photography.
talking about chemistry.
No, this is great. This is great. We're trying to educate the
I'm
public.
asking you. I've been trying to do that for a decade. Some of the public just...
It's just kind of.
well, it's weird. Also, you have to be right in line with the ground glass. So as you, so that's a property of the
Should I get her
ground
back up
glass,
a
right?
bit?
You can move your camera up and down a little bit if you can,
Oh, I
and
see.
you'll
Oh, okay.
it's focusing where you're looking,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.